This should be played at high volume.
Breaking off another hot explosive mix. We're about to take it back.
Coming back at you with another episode of my experience playing American football in Brazil. In the last video, you got to see me play in my first game, throw my first touchdown, and throw a few stiff arms along the way. We would only have 2 weeks until our next game, which is enough time to make a few adjustments, but in this region of the country, it's infamously known for its unpredictable weather conditions. That made it difficult for us to practice. We had to practice indoors and even cancel a few. Nevertheless, the next game would come regardless of the conditions. Our next opponent was HP Football Academy. This is another team in our city, so there's a long-standing rivalry between the two teams. This next game would be a home game in Crocodiles Stadium, and this would be my first home game with the team. I was excited to play in front of a home crowd and excited to expand on the victory from the last game. Coming into this game, we were in a similar position to the last. This would be the last regular season game before the playoffs, so we were chasing home field advantage for the championship. We were 83 points behind the leader of the other division, so an 84-point differential in this game would give us the number 1 seed in the playoffs. The way the coaches talked about it, and for that to be our goal, I thought they were crazy. We started with the first possession of the game. On first and second down, we ran the ball to establish the ground game and to see what kind of defensive front they would give us. We're left with 3rd and 6 and an automatic passing situation. I get an open receiver on the outside, and we pick up the first down. After an unsuccessful run, we're in 2nd and long, another passing situation. The pocket collapses from a failed blocking assignment. I step up and try to make something out of nothing. On 3rd and long, I get a call for a halfback draw. My center sees a blitz package he doesn't like, so he waves off the call. I make an adjustment and give my receivers a route combination. The only problem is they don't understand the audible. So with another collapsing pocket, I try to scramble and get caught from behind. I lose the ball and the defense recovers. After a quick 3 and out, we get the ball back on our own 35-yard line. The first play is an RPO. I throw the quick slant. I hit the receiver on his back shoulder, but he can't bring it in. 2nd and 10, we try a halfback screen, but he gets blown up because of missed blocking assignment. At this point, I had to step off the field because I was bleeding, so the other quarterback came in. On his first play, he throws a post route for a 30-yard gain. The next play is a dive, which goes right up the middle. We gain a solid 10 yards and a first down. On 1st and 10, we've got a smash call. The line holds up and gives the quarterback enough time to find the corner route. We get into the end zone, and that gives us our first points of the day. After getting taped up by the medical staff, I came back for the next offensive possession. We start with a counter, which goes for 6. That sets us up with a 2nd and short, which is a great opportunity to take a deep shot. It doesn't look like my receiver is going to get over the top of the defender, so I give him a jump ball opportunity, and he brings it in for a nice 25-yard pickup. End of the first quarter meant a field change, and we'd start with the quarterback power to the short side of the field. We didn't practice this play much, so the blocking assignments get mixed up, and I take the brunt of that. On 2nd and 7, I get another all-verts call. We blow the protection and let a free linebacker get a straight line into the backfield. The only thing I could do was throw the ball away. Coming into 3rd and 7, we had a leveled outs drawn up. This is a timing route, and I needed to go to the deep out for the first down. But with the defender barreling in and nowhere to step up, I settled for the quick out and hoped he could break the tackle. The other offense is struggling to execute on anything. They fumble on first down, and we take over in the red zone. We would run on 1st and 2nd down, but we just couldn't establish anything with the ground game. On 3rd down, we catch a flag, and that pushes us back for a long 3rd and goal. The defense, knowing it was a guaranteed pass play, brings the pressure off the edge, and we completely miss it. I try to escape the pocket and find a receiver downfield, but after the fumble in the first drive, I didn't want to risk another turnover in a scoring position. From here, we'd send out the kicking team, and they'd knock one through to give us the 10-0 lead. After just 1 quarter and 16 plays, the coaches decided to make a change at quarterback. What would happen next is the craziest thing I've ever seen in a football game. Our opponent would go 3 and out on the next drive, and a bad punt would give us the ball inside the 20. On the first play, our running back Bruno takes it in for a touchdown, but this isn't any ordinary touchdown. This is his 100th career touchdown. He's the first Brazilian player to accomplish this, so congratulations, Bruno. With another quick change of possessions, we have the ball back in the red zone. On a 4th and goal, the quarterback gets pressured and he rolls to his right. At the last second, he finds a receiver in the back of the end zone, and that's another 7 on the board. Just before the end of the first half, we've got the opportunity to score before the time runs out. We try to push the ball through the air, but ultimately we can't make it into the end zone before the time runs out. The second half was when things started to get really wild. We kicked an onside to start it off, we recovered it, and after just 2 plays on offense, we run it in for a touchdown. On the very next kickoff, we recover again, and after just 2 plays, we're back in the end zone. Not to be outshined, the defense grabbed an interception on the next possession, and you already know the story. 2 plays on offense, and we're in the end zone. The next kickoff would follow the pattern. The ball gets bobbled, dropped, and recovered by our guy. On 1st and 10, the quarterback drops back and delivers a touchdown over the middle. The next possession would go in similar fashion. A great pocket and a deep shot down the sideline. I think the defense started to get a bit jealous, so they picked one off and took it back to the end zone. I don't know what the record is for recovered onside kicks, but I think in this game we must have gotten close. Another chance in the red zone, another rushing touchdown. I kind of felt bad for our opponent. They had some serious Murphy's Law going on. Meanwhile, we seemed to have the Midas touch. This extra point would put us at 81 points, just 3 points shy of our ultimate goal of 84. The next possession for HP would be another 3 and out, and we would take over the ball on the 40-yard line. We had enough time to run the ball one more time to get us in range of a field goal. We called our last time out and rallied the offense. There were only a few seconds left on the clock, and the only choice we had was to send out the kicking team. We were only 3 points away from locking in the first seed in the playoffs and reaching 84 points, that mythical number we needed. No good. The kick is no good. Man, I really felt bad for the kicker, and when I look back at the film, I don't think he was ready. So that's how the game would end, 81-0. We'd still come away with a huge victory, and we would solidify ourselves as the 2nd seed in the playoffs. This game was full of emotions. The team was excited to win by such a big margin, but at the same time we were sad because we were so close to the goal. For me personally, it was also a mix of emotions. I tried to be the best teammate and leader I could be. I helped where I could, and I was happy for the team's success. But at the same time, it was quite a disappointment. This was our last regular season game, so this would be my last chance to get chemistry with the offense before the playoffs. So it was great to win, but at what cost? We would have 2 weeks between the last game and the first round of the playoffs. I was hoping we could get some good practices in between now and then, but it literally rained every single day. Having been pulled out in the last game while only playing 1 quarter, I told the coach I would do whatever I could to help the team, whether that was playing quarterback or any other position. In practice, I got to play some tight end, which was the position I played in high school.
Get all the way to the Patriots 2-yard line. Next play, Justin Sims to Taylor Palmer for the touchdown. 14-7 Providence on top.
And just in case you were wondering if I was about that smoke, I've always been about that smoke. This is where things would take a turn for the worst. In practice, I was playing receiver. I went up for a ball and landed on my foot in an awkward position. Luckily, I didn't break anything, but I had a bad sprain and a bone bruise to the heel. This meant that I would have to sit out during the next game. In 25 years of playing football, this was the first game I had ever missed due to injury. I hated standing on the sideline, but I couldn't even walk, let alone run. Because we were a top seed in the playoffs, our opponent was quite weak. Our run game is where we would gain the upper hand. Once we were in the red zone, our running backs were able to put 3 scores on the board. It wasn't until the 4th quarter when we were able to finally get the pass game involved and added a few more scores for good measure. Defense had a shutout as usual and grabbed themselves a pick 6 to seal the deal. Our next game would be the hardest challenge of the year. We would be fighting it out with the only other undefeated team in the country, the Rio Preto Whalers. We had the home field advantage, so they traveled the 12 hours by bus to get here. This is a really talented team with several national team players, as well as an American quarterback and an American defensive safety. We won the coin toss and deferred to the second half. That would give the Whalers the ball to start the first half. Our defense started out great. We held up strong against their first 2 run attempts, and on 3rd down, they went incomplete on the pass attempt. This would be the first 3 and out in the game. On the punt, that's where things would go bad. The returner bobbles the ball, drops it, and gives the Whalers the opportunity to recover the ball in scoring territory. The defense would end up making a great goal line stand, and they were able to only get away with a field goal and 3 points. Over on the offense, we would start out with a few good plays, moving the ball to midfield with our run game. On one of our counter runs, the defender gets in and pops the ball out of the running back's hand. The ball rolls right into the hands of the Whalers' American DB, and they take over possession inside the 40. From here, we would trade possessions with the Whalers, punting back and forth as each team struggled to move the chains. For a while, it was really a battle in the trenches. That is until the middle of the second quarter, when the Whalers would get a go route down the sideline and get themselves the first touchdown of the day. Back on offense, we couldn't get much going. Usually our run game is our strength, but for whatever reason, we just weren't executing what we needed to. Late in the second quarter, I would get my first few snaps of the game on defense. The Whalers, seeing that I was in, called a GT counter right at me. I was able to take on both blocks of the guard and the tackle, which allowed our backside DN to make the play. A few plays later, we had another 3rd and long, so I got back on the field. Both the tight end and the tackle went to block me, so I expected a run play to my side again. In the process of shedding the tight end, my finger got caught in his jersey. I didn't know at the time, but I had broken the index finger on my right hand, my throwing hand. Just before the end of the first half, we'd get ourselves another field goal, putting the score at 3-10. We'd start the second half back on offense, but would end up punting the ball over to the Whalers after a 3-and-out. The defense would quickly get an interception and get us the ball back on the 25-yard line. On the first play, the quarterback tries for the quick out, but that receiver had the American DB over top, and he read it perfectly. He got the interception and took it all the way back for the pick six, extending the score to 17-3. This is when the special teams crew would make a huge play. The returner takes it right up the middle of the field and brings it all the way back to the 2-yard line. With the score at 17-3 late in the third quarter, this is a 4-play territory. We'd proceed to line up and run the ball 4 times in a row, and they would proceed to shut it down every single time. But with no intensity lost, the defense returns to the field and locks up the Whalers' offense in the end zone, producing a safety, which gives us a couple points and gives us the ball back. With another unsuccessful offensive drive and the signal of the beginning of the fourth quarter, this is when the coaches would ask me if I could go in at quarterback. Because of the injury to my foot, I had only tried to run for the first time the day before this game, and due to the broken finger on the throwing hand, which had happened in the second quarter, I didn't even know if I could throw the ball. But never backing down from a challenge, I took a few practice snaps and I told him I could do it. The first play is one that I'd like to forget, but it is what it is. We get a speed option called in, the defense is already calling out the play, the blocking goes bad, the exchange between me and the running back goes bad. It turns into a fumble and the Whalers recover. This is one of those situations where you play like you practice, and because we didn't practice as much, it showed. The worst part of this turnover is that they were immediately able to convert that into a score, which would extend the lead to 24-5. We'd have trouble handling the next kick return, and therefore we'd start on our own 15. This drive would start out much better than the last. A few completions, a scramble, another completion. I was feeling pretty good at this point. Now that we're at midfield, we get the same route concept that the defense had previously jumped for the pick six in the first half. I throw the ball a bit behind the receiver and the defender jumps it again, just like last time, getting himself the interception. Luckily, our defense would come in clutch and snag an interception on the goal line. Coming onto the field for this next drive, I was super motivated. I would do everything in my power to get us into the end zone. My mindset was to make safe and efficient passing decisions, and if nothing was there, I'd get positive yardage on the ground, but at all costs, no turnovers. We gradually worked our way up the field with a mixture of passes and scrambles. I think what really helped us here is that the defense wasn't ready to defend the run and the pass threat at the same time, coupled with the fact that I was able to hit several different receivers throughout the drive. With a few more completions and some more yardage from a scramble run, we will have worked ourselves into striking distance going the length of the field. We get into a trips package and call a pick play with a slant underneath. The receiver gets taken down on the 1-yard line. We call in a quick dive to punch it in. I see the backside defenders crashing down, so I pull the ball and sprint to the outside. We needed points here, so we would go for the 2-point conversion. We run another pick play and hit the quick out. The receiver does most of the work and finds his way in. With time winding down, we try an onside kick, but the Whalers would recover, and with the last remaining seconds, they would kneel it out to finish the game. This game didn't go how we had envisioned, and with the expectation of making another championship run, no one was ready for the season to end after this game. My experience coming to play in Brazil also felt the same. It's nothing I had envisioned. It was quite the challenge to show up on short notice and make the smooth transition into the team while also having such an emphasis to put up massive points. I'm confident with more time and more practice, we could have been amazing. But regardless of everything, the beauty of football is that it always gives you an opportunity to learn, and it always gives you an opportunity to be humbled. I'm not sure if this is my last time playing in Brazil, but if it is, I'm proud I could finish out with a touchdown, and I'm proud I could do it with the Crocodiles. Beyond football, the best part of living the life I do is in the friendships I get to build along the way. I got to meet a lot of amazing people in Brazil, and that's what I'll remember the most. Playing sports is about winning and losing, but life is about the experiences, the memories, and the relationships that you'll take with you the rest of your life.